Good afternoon, guys, and happy Tuesday to all of your sunshiny faces, guys. Oh, there's a stove here. And I christened it by making a quesadilla today. So, yeah, guys, I'm so excited. And it's so weird because the more and more stuff that we keep changing in this kitchen, we keep doing new things and stuff like that, like the new light we added in up there with the little switch that's over here. Now the stove, I was like, I went over here to turn that light on and I was like, I feel like I'm in somebody else's house. Like, there was never a light switch here for, like, you know, almost 20 years of living in this house, and the stove hasn't been, you know, we had the same stove for 20 years. I'm like, this looks really weird. Not exactly 20 years. I think it's been 19 years. But yeah, guys, we got the stove in. So this is it, and well, I kept telling you guys yesterday, oh, you know, they're supposed to be installing it and haul away the old one. Apparently, we actually didn't end up paying for it. Matthew was actually on the phone with Home Depot, like, for a while today to find out if we actually did wind up paying for it or not. And yeah, it turned out that we actually didn't, which made sense because of the price of the stove, and we paid for the hood and the microwave, which is in a box right now, and this one will soon be saying goodbye to. And then once that's gone too, I'll be like, this is somebody else's kitchen entirely. But yeah, we found out that my mom actually didn't pay for that. So and it wasn't like listed in the like receipt either, so that's why we assumed that no, we didn't actually. So my dad came home and had to install it, which was not difficult at all. It was literally, we plugged in the electrical and the little plug there, and my dad had to just real quick, which it used the exact same from the old stove, just the gas hookup that's actually down there right now, and then also the he did have to put the anti-tip bracket in, which was not super difficult, but it was just drilling 2 screws into the floor and then attaching the little bracket thing, and then making sure this slid into the right place. So yeah, guys, that is, like I said, really cool. We got this. It has got this extra griddle that we can use. It actually fits like perfectly onto the grate here, and it has 5 burners. So this has got, you guys can see the 2 big ones in the front, which I guess are called like power burners, if you guys can see that down there. This is gonna focus. And then it's got this like simmer burner, which is like a small burner, just for, like, you know, small simmering and stuff like that, sauces, or what's it called, like, you know, if you're heating up soup or, you know, that kind of thing. And then the middle burner along with that one are both the same size as well, so they're like a medium-sized burner, but these are like the big, fast, you know, like heat up flame, I guess. I think the ones that we used to have are probably about this size, and now our front burner is that big, which is awesome. And then this is not a full continuous grate, it's pretty much one big grate, but this is actually 2 separate pieces. This piece actually comes up, and then this one, it like, they fit into each other like kind of like a puzzle piece. And then we've got the 5 burners down here, so that is for the stove. And then for the oven, guys, can I just say that it's the simple things in life. We have never had a digital clock on any of our, well, I mean, the old house that we lived at before we lived in this one, which again, we've had the same stove oven range for 19 years. The one before that, we lived at a house in the 90s, and the stove was probably, again, from the 80s or 90s, and I don't think it was digital. And it was a lot, I don't know, it kind of reminded me a lot of the one we have here, but I think it's smaller. Anyways, it's like I said, the little things, guys. It has a digital clock and a digital timer. Our old stove had a like turn timer that didn't work. If you accidentally hit it, the timer would wind up going off and you wouldn't be able to figure out how to turn it off. Sometimes we'd have to just unplug it to get it to stop. It was a huge pain. Like I said, it is the simple things, guys. I'm so happy that there is a clock on the stove now, and it's just so weird. But I feel like this is like insanely normal thing to have. For us, it's not, and like I said, it's just amazing. So we've got obviously the oven light, which I'm going to turn on so I can show you guys what the inside of the oven looks like. Clock, which I already programmed, timer, and the dogs are scared of the oven, which there he goes running away. They're scared of basically the beeping noise on here. And then we have bacon broil, and then you do all the temperature control and stuff like that, which, like I said, is crazy because with our old oven, it was literally one knob in the middle here. It had 5 burners as well. Our other one, it was actually a griddle in the middle though. It did not have, like, basically, it was a 5th burner, but it was the griddle, and it only worked for that. It didn't have, like, a grate. And then, so there was actually 6 knobs. The other one you turned, but it was here. And that was for the oven. And half of the numbers rubbed off. You couldn't see what you were actually preheating or setting the oven to or anything like that. So, guys, this is the massive, which, again, this is smaller. You guys can clearly see we lost 6 inches. I don't want to say 2 times bigger, but like capacity wise, like cubic feet, it is so much bigger. It's crazy. It's like amazing. This door is like huge compared to our little oven door, which I think I realized too actually what sort of the difference is as well, because not only was I like, well, it just feels like it's so much like taller, but also too there's not as much like, I don't know what I would call this, like insulation space, but like there was like another like chunk of like the oven that also like our old one that came off here, so it made the space like so much smaller on the inside. But the other reason too why it feels so much bigger, I think, is because the broiler, which we had a broiler on the old stove as well, but there was like another like space sort of gap underneath that as well. Like, I don't know, it didn't, like the broiler, actually I feel like this broiler is also bigger, which we have to actually order the separate broiler piece for, we found out, but it feels a lot bigger too, like I said, like more like the, not necessarily depth wise, but length wise sort of, I guess, if that's length or width, I guess, width wise, yeah. So it feels, like I said, way bigger than the other one. But it also feels like it's way closer to the floor though than the other one was. But again, I think that's because there was so much more like space in between that. So you guys have to excuse we still have to pull up the tile over here. But like this, guys, it's just massive. I am just like in awe, like I said, of having buttons to press instead of a dial that I have to turn every time, or a little it's so weird, guys. I'm gonna forget how to use the old like oven stove thing, but what I will say is that the old stove that this one doesn't have, it had the old like range, I guess, it had a light actually that lit up like here at the bottom, which isn't a big deal because guess what, we got this light up here, which we also had on the other one. The hood had also a light, but we just had a light like down there. Seriously, I don't really know what it was for because there was really no purpose. If you had this light on, you could see what you were doing, and then there was a light for the oven, so like I don't know what that extra light really accomplished there. But yeah, so you guys saw when we got the hood, I showed you guys that yesterday. We've had that put in. But yeah, guys, like I said, I made a quesadilla. I think I'm going to make a hash brown, maybe hash browns for breakfast tomorrow. But it's so weird because it doesn't have like a dial. So like I said, the old stove had 2 like buttons on the side that you turned either the like top, like the stove light on, or else the oven light on either side, and it had 6 knobs. But there was, other than like I said, the really old-fashioned clock that you would actually have to turn, and it was like you know, it had hands on it. It wasn't digital, like a traditional clock, which is what it used to be, like I said. So like I said, I don't know actually how old that old stove was. I don't know. I feel like it was either from the 90s or 80s possibly. Either, I thought me and my dad found the instruction manual, and I thought it was from like the 90s at least, because I was like, oh, the stove is older than me, because like I think it was like maybe 93 or something like that. So it worked. It has held up. It was really awesome, but the door was super squeaky whenever you'd open it, and it started to even too, like, I don't know, there was a problem too with some of the like corroding, I think, like the oven door sort of, and I don't know what was happening with it. Like, I don't even know how that happens either, because like it wasn't getting wet, like there wasn't any, like, I don't know how it happened, but yeah, that sort of did end up happening. And then also too, this one, I feel like actually either we've been able to push it back further, but see, I don't even really know if that's true or not, or else it actually doesn't stick out quite as far as the other one. But overall, I think the stove part feels a little bit smaller, but the oven feels huge in comparison. But again too, I feel like with the old one, it had 4 burners, but they were like so far apart, and it also had the griddle in the middle, which we never ended up actually really ever using, because a few years ago, they're cast iron, right guys? You have to treat them and season them, and we never did, and they got all like disgusting and nasty. And I know that you could save cast iron and stuff like that, but then there was the grease strip that was underneath there, which was also all like, we were just like, this is it. We're not going to use this anymore. So long story short, we know with this new one, it even says in the instruction manual to make sure that you season it, which I know about now because we have cast iron. I have a cast iron pot slash skillet. It's actually a pot that has the lid is actually a skillet, which is pretty cool. It's like a 2-in-1. And then I also have a cast iron griddle as well, which obviously we have one here, but we bought it mainly so we could use it on the grill. But I think I did use it maybe once or twice on the stove as well. So now that we have this again, we can use it a little bit more often. But my mom too, like, she is not really familiar with using cast iron. I wasn't either. I did a lot of research on it before I was like, oh, we should probably get one of these because we can use them safely, you know, on the grill and everything, just because of the heat and the flame and, you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I said, I looked up a lot of that, but my mom was like, I'm not really sure how to, like, how are you supposed to season this and stuff like that. So again, I've done some research into that, but yeah guys, I'm so excited to have this. I cannot wait to get the microwave put up. The microwave looks massive, guys. I'm super intimidated. I actually am like, I feel like the microwave might be bigger than the old oven was. Like, that is actually what it looks like to me. You guys see this? Like, this box is stinking huge. That is the microwave we normally have had. Tiny little thing. That is the new microwave that we have. And it's stinking huge. I am, like I said, a little intimidated by it. But yeah guys, it is gonna go up over there. Hopefully it actually fits. I did all the measurement beforehand and checked to make sure everything said it was gonna work, fit, and all that kind of stuff, but I'm a little scared when I actually have seen it now. So yeah, and then I think I've been telling you guys too that we're gonna actually build a rolling pantry, a sliding pantry sort of thing that's gonna go here. It's gonna have the blue. I feel like it's actually gonna make the space because the oven feels like it just seeps into all of the rest of the white on the walls. And I feel like that blue there is gonna make it pop when we build that because it's gonna match the rest of the cabinetry. So guys, yeah, that is, like I said, what went on for today. I'm like so excited. I cannot wait to use this. I'm like, what can I make with it like tomorrow? The other thing too guys is that I got an Instapot months ago, like maybe back in January or something like that. I know it was a little, actually no, maybe before Christmas, because I think it was on sale for like a Christmas sale or something like that on Amazon. It was like half off or like a lot of money off. Maybe not necessarily half, but it was definitely a good chunk off, and I was like, oh, I totally want to get it because I know that there's a lot of freezer meals that you can do for Instant Pots. I'm super intimidated by it and have not used it yet, and we've had it for probably close to 6 months now if we did indeed get it back in December. So that's another thing too that I have to try and figure out how to use and work and all that kind of stuff, and our microwave, which also to show you, I'll tell you guys about all the cool features about the microwave once we get it set up. But I think that's pretty much the cool features about the like I said, the stove, oven, range, and all that. It's just, kind of weird. We have to order the separate piece for the broiler, whereas like, you know, I feel like the griddle is something that's kind of extra, like you should order it separately, like as an additional piece. But no, apparently the broiler is the piece you have to order extra. We do also have to order an extra piece as well for the microwave, and we have to order the charcoal filter for the hood as well. So anyways, guys, yeah, that is our little fun update from our corner. Look at guys, it's like glowing in the background. It makes me so happy. I was like so excited that we have a new stove oven. Like, it's gonna take so long to get used to, not only it being in our house, because like I said, I was like weirded out today by flipping the light switch and being like, that turns on that light, but it's never been like that before. Like, I don't know, our house just, especially the kitchen, which is where I spend a lot of time, feels like vastly different. And I'm like, I feel like I'm in somebody else's house. Like, there's light switches where there used to not be, there's new appliances, and even like the fridge, which has been here for a little while, is still newer, but like, you know, it's a couple of years old, and it took me a little while to get used to, I think, this refrigerator. A little bit, not too long, but I feel like the refrigerator, you literally just open up and put stuff in. Like the oven and stove, you kind of got to get used to like how long do you cook something for, and obviously like all of the sizes of the burners are different too. So it's like, oh, you know, I actually made a quesadilla on the back one, on the little simmer one, just because I was scared of burning it, because the big one looks like so big, and I'm like, I'm scared I'm going to, like, you know, it's gonna just toast it in like 5 seconds. So yeah, guys, it's gonna take a little getting used to, but I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog.